art of wrestling with professional wrestler Colt Cabana.
All right, how you guys doing? Come on in, sit down, let's do this. You're about to listen to The Art of Wrestling, a professional wrestling podcast. It's a live podcast. It's a personal journal. It's an entry into the minds, the souls, the hearts, and the lives of the people involved. The world of professional wrestling. I am your host. My name is Colt Cabana. I am a suitcase warrior. I'm a Japanese warrior. I'm a sumo wrestler podcast. I wonder if there's sumo wrestlers who do podcasts. That'd be pretty great. Like the Colt Cabana of the sumo wrestling world. Who would that be? I don't know. I know what I am, though, and most importantly, I am a professional wrestler, and I'm not sitting here live in the studio. Apartment in Chicago, Illinois. I am in a Tokyo hotel room with a real weird contraption. Did you see my contraption on the Art of Wrestling Facebook for last week's podcast? Maybe I'll show you this one if you're lucky. Before we go any further, though, this is a fan sport and listener supported podcast supported by people just like you. Give it to you free of charge every single Thursday on ColtCabana.com, iTunes, SoundCloud, Stitcher, wherever you get your podcasts from. A couple great ways that you can support, rate, review, and subscribe on iTunes. Tell a friend, let somebody know what's going on, tweet it out, Facebook it out, Vine it out. Did a sweet Randy Moss Vine this week. Who saw that one? Best way you can support, though, ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. I will ship when I get home. T-shirts, buttons, pictures, posters, DVDs, digital downloads. It's all available over there. Great way to support. ColtMerch.com, DigitalColt.com. All right, the guest this week, Jinder Mahal, comes on the show, and happy to have him on. Obviously, he wasn't here with me in Japan to record this podcast. I did a thing called banking some podcasts because I knew I was going to be in Japan and that I wouldn't be able to podcast with some people, or there's a little British man who doesn't want to podcast with me. But there's somebody who will always join me on the tour and come on in the room and hang out on the podcast for a little bit, and that's my friend Chris Hero. Hi, Chris.
Hey, buddy. Hey, we got some nice rooms today.
Whoa. Is this? Yeah, usually I come in here and I complain about the smallest little room in Japan, but for some reason we got duped into a double room.
And still, a double room in Japan is still like half of a normal Ramada Inn room.
Yeah, but I feel like a king.
Yeah,
I feel like
we can open our bags all the way up.
I feel like a real king, and I'm happy about it.
You know, a lot of times if I need to repack my bags, if the room's so small that I have to put the bag on my bed to repack, I just say fuck it and don't repack my stuff. I'm just like, I don't need to get in my bags.
Because you'd rather not put it on the bed?
Yeah, because it's just like, it's all the way on the ground. You got to pick it up and throw it on the bed. And it
has nothing to do with dirtiness of the bed.
No. Right. Not dirtiness of the bed, just lack of space. And like, I'm already walking around hunched.
And you're a bigger guy too.
Yeah.
I know the other night we stayed in a hotel and
the showers.
Yeah, the first thing I said, I go to Lance Hoyt, I go, how did you, or Lance Archer, I go, how did you even take a shower in this? And he's like, I couldn't. It was like the weirdest shower ever. And I'd imagine for you too. I mean, but he's got a couple inches on you.
Yeah, he does. And yeah, this is no fun. It's no fun.
So one of the fun things I think about this podcast, and not that this isn't a contest with any other podcast, that's not how it works, but we're still doing it. So like the stories you hear from some of these other guys, those were in the past. This is the current stories while we're doing it. So both of us are in Japan. We're in the Global League. We're not in the same section, so we have different matches with different people. I watched you had a real good one with Tanaka the other day. You guys seem to be paired up a lot, Masato Tanaka and Chris Hero.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. He's a huge inspiration because of the incredible shape he's gotten himself into, and he's still hitting it hard. He works full time. He does probably 15 shows a month still, and he's in great shape.
And he's darker skinned than Sean Benjamin, who's on the tour with us.
He must. I actually I think I found a picture on Facebook of him sitting by a tanning bed, which I think he might own.
Sitting by, I can see him just, like he watches TV in the tanning bed.
Yeah, like maybe his house. He just has tanning bulbs insulating his house.
That'd be a smart move.
Yeah. A cool thing about Tanaka is that, I started wrestling in 98. I'm from Dayton, Ohio. Summer of 98, I got to see him wrestle Heatwave 98 against Mike Awesome live.
Oh, wow.
And his rolling elbow, the first time I ever saw a rolling elbow was most likely from him because I hadn't been watching Misawa yet. And then also, when the Wife Beater debuted, his finishing move, he won a couple matches, was the domestic violence, which was a modified Diamond Dust.
Which, of course, those who don't know the wife beater, we're not talking about CZW.
No.
Wife beater.
We're talking about Chris Hero.
Chris Hero's first
wife
name
beater.
on the Indies.
The innovator of domestic violence. Sorry.
No, nothing to be sorry about.
17 years ago.
This is our history. This is who we are.
Masato Tanaka.
Yes. So, two things I wanted to bring up, and I guess just stories that I've witnessed or noticed here on the tour, and I don't think you, and I don't even know if I brought this up to you yet. So, I wrestled the match before me. Keno and O'Hara, who you knew from Mexico, I believe.
Okay, so I knew O'Hara from Mexico. He was a Ultimo Dragon Skida guy. He was in Tourmont X. And when Claudio and I went down there, he was already working for CMLL. He was doing a program with La Mascara in like Arena, Mexico. Keno is from Michinoku Pro, who I saw wrestle live when Ishimori took me to some Michinoku Pro shows.
Oh, fun. So they do a thing where they grab a dude, and then one of the dude ducks, and Keno always hits O'Hara with a kendo stick. It's
who does this sell where his forearms, he's just like shaking his wrists, and he does it for a couple minutes usually.
And it's an ongoing theme. Well, I was watching this match directly before me, and I noticed he kind of clipped him right. It looked legit, and he came back, and he's bleeding all over the place. And I watched and I came back, and we saw as Keno basically lost 7 to 8 teeth.
No, O'Hara lost.
I'm sorry, O'Hara lost 7 to 8 teeth in the ring.
Oh, shit.
And now the story I bring to you is because I was in the ring, and then I wrestled Muhammad Yone, and afterwards Yone was like, I'm sorry. There was some, because I saw people like coming in the ring. I didn't understand what was going on, and later he explained to me that he was brushing the teeth out of the ring with his boot, and like he said as he was taking bumps, he could feel teeth in his back. And I that's just,
don't let deathmatch companies hear this, because they'll do like you'll start bumping people on their teeth that they knocked out.
And that was a first for me. And just the idea of like, I guess what we do and what we're always doing is that's a thing that can happen, obviously. But then like, because I kind of saw him, but then the visual of him just moving teeth with his boot to the outside, like, get these teeth out of here. I have to go wrestle. And that's always been one of my biggest fears. And I know you had some teeth things too.
Yeah, and I actually have a similar story about that. I was wrestling Xavier Woods in FCW. And he was attempting like a head scissor turned arm drag. And just his knee caught me in the face on the way over, and I felt a huge crunch in my mouth, and I immediately knew what happened. But I think I took a crossbody right after that, so I kept the teeth in my mouth because I knew he was going for a pin. And as I kicked out of the pin, I sat up, and I saw a couple friends of mine in the crowd. It was in Tampa. So I saw my friends like Monster and such, and I looked at them and I spit all of my teeth out.
Oh, you didn't keep them in like Jolly Ranchers?
No. Because I mean, if you're gonna do it and you're gonna be in pro wrestling and something happens, you want to get the most out of it. So
God.
They will never forget the image of me spitting my teeth out. Now, what the Yone part reminded me of is we have our athletic trainer, Brian Duncan, Moonlight is what we would call him. He came in the back when he had like a blue glove on his hand, and he had my teeth in his hand, and he like handed them like, "Hey man." And I'm like, what the fuck am I going to do with those? And like, I took a picture of it.
Put
like
them in milk, right?
Yeah. No, man, these were way beyond repair. But yeah, it's just like, oh, all right, that just happened. Just try to, make the most of it.
Yeah, I chipped like a little bit of my tooth. It's funny, in developmental tooth. It's the only place I had tooth problems.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a thing.
It's a thing.
System, you should get on it.
Sanjay had his teeth knocked out. He went for like a diving crossbody to the floor, and at the ECW arena CCW show, and he hit his face on the guardrail and knocked his front. He chipped like one of his front teeth.
Oh, what a fear!
Yeah, he was. If you know Sanjay, he was furious. He was furious.
Yeah. And yeah. I mean, luckily it was a little chip, and no one could really see it, and maybe it gives me a little character. I didn't lose all of my teeth like some people have.
No, it just feels weird on your tongue for a little while.
Yes, I did have another thing to. Well, maybe we'll do that next week. We'll talk about that one next week.
I have one funny story to add at the end of this.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So last night, you already know this story, but last night on the bus, we had this 11.5-hour bus ride back from Hiroshima. So we're all a little stir crazy. And then right as we almost get back to Tokyo, Super Crazy is looking back, and he's like, Chris. So I'm like, hey, okay, what? So I like make my way up to the front of the bus, and he goes, is this real? What happened? So like he hands me this article, and it's about Alberto Del Rio, and Del Rio just came back, and he beat Cena for the U.S. title or something, debut. It was a big surprise because everybody thought he had crazy heat with WWE, whatever. So like, I just immediately start reading this article, and he's like, "Is it real? Is it real?" I'm like, "Shit, I didn't hear about it. I don't know." And I'm reading in it, and it's like, they raided his home, and he's been deported, and blah 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 blah, whatever. And I'm trying to figure out whether it's real or not. And the warning sign was they took his title and gave it to Cesaro because he didn't deserve it. Mm-hmm. That was number one. And then number two, I looked up at the top, and it was a Kayfabe News article. Yeah. So it's poor Super Crazy. Within the language barrier, he did not understand that Alberto Del Rio had not been deported.
Oh, and sometimes in this podcast, people will be like, have this person on, and the person would be on like 2 weeks before.
Yeah.
Or when does your podcast come out? And it's like every Thursday for the last 5 years. And I'll get a little worked up, but then like I should realize like, don't get worked up. Yeah. I can only imagine Colin at Kayfabe News.
Oh man. Because I literally, on average, once a week, I see somebody posting one of his things and they think it's real.
Yeah. And but hey, he's you make it, you gotta live with it. And actually, spoiler, I guess I don't announce anybody, but he's going to be on the live podcast in Toronto. Yeah, reading some funny.
Oh, I thought you meant Super Crazy.
No. Colin from Kayfabe News. He lives in Toronto. I'm going to have him on.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. And speaking of live shows, Marty and I the night before Thanksgiving, we'll be in Chicago at the Cards Against Humanity headquarters. And I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about the rest of the tour, and I'm excited that Jinder Mahal will be on the show, and I'm excited about this song of the week. Thanks, Chris.
Thanks.
And the song of the week is brought to you by DraftKings.com. Your season-long fantasy football team may not be doing strong, but you don't have to wait until Week 16 to get paid. Put your fantasy skills to test every single week this season at DraftKings.com, America's favorite one-week fantasy football site. 1 week fantasy means no season-long commitments. Did your player get injured? Is he gone for the whole year? That's no big deal. It's basically a new season every week. You're never stuck with the same players. DraftKings is crowning a new millionaire every week this season. Turn your love of football into a life-changing payday. Pick your players, pile up the points, and pick up your cash. That's it. You've never experienced football like this before. This isn't fantasy as usual. It's DraftKings. Welcome to the big time. Hurry to DraftKings.com now and use the promo code WRESTLE to play for free for a shot at $1 million in this week's Millionaire Maker event. Enter the code WRESTLE for free entry now at DraftKings.com. DraftKings.com. That's DraftKings.com. Song this week is by KMVP, suggested to me by Davis Kings, who's a really good wrestler out in Vancouver for ECCW. He also looks like Paul Rudd, which can only be taken as a compliment. Jinder Mahal, of course, from Calgary. Not of course, you'll learn that in this fun talk. We'll get into it. I'm going to play this KMVP song, which can be found at kmvp.bandcamp.com. It's called Montreal Screwjob. Enjoy it. We'll be back with Jinder Mahal.
We all watched in horror as he fled with the bell, and I wanted to take a stand. I wanted to take a stand. In the old days, I slept in cars. I lived on sandwiches. I drove for hours. In the old days, I lived at home. I took a beating. I slept alone. And we all watched in horror. They drove a legend right into the ground. And I wanted to take a stand. I wanted to take a stand.
Promotional consideration paid for by the following.
WWE 2K16, the video game, is also sponsoring the podcast today. Get in the ring and raise some hell with the biggest roster in WWE game history. It's available now. Some of the guys who have been on this very show are featured in the game itself. Steve Austin, Kevin Owens, Neville, Kofi Kingston, Bushwhacker Luke, Lita, Vader, and of course, Zack Ryder. He made it this year. Congrats, Zack. Some of the great features of this year's game, 2K Showcase, where you can play through the career of Steve Austin from the NWA all the way to Stone Cold. I actually did a lot of mocap on this year's game, and I specifically remember doing a fun sequence for the Ricky Steamboat Steve Austin feud. There's also a creation suite that allows you to develop and customize from superstars to divas and arenas, shows, and much more. My career, make yourself, give yourself a sweet body and maybe a tramp stamp. I don't know, why not? Start at NXT and make it all the way to the WWE, then go to the Hall of Fame where you'll be inducted with Coco Beware. 3-man commentary team, WWE Universe, improved gameplay, and so much more. Grab it today on basically every console. WWE 2K16, the video game.
I like the idea of starting this off with you breathing really heavily. Can we get for sounds?
I am so not blown up.
Yeah, there's 5 of you in there. We're on. We're starting this. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know what? Every person says, "Oh, we're on."
Yeah.
Oh, so this thing's rolling. Oh,
yeah.
so this thing's rolling.
So it's just going.
Yeah.
But this is literally like from action to this action. Like, would you say 30 seconds ago you stepped out of the ring?
Yeah. 30 seconds ago. Yeah, it was a good match.
Yeah.
From big crowd.
This is, I mean, but I like to paint the picture of like, and I think this is where, this is an indie show.
No, this is indie wrestling.
Yeah, you're on the indie circuit now.
Yeah.
And we were in a parking lot tonight.
Yeah, pretty much.
And wrestling in a parking lot in the middle, it's turning fall. And it's freezing fucking cold.
Yeah, I thought I was smart we did the dive spot on the side where the grass is, but the grass was cold and wet. So I was like, maybe the cement would have been better.
Yeah, but I'd imagine because like so when I did some like there's some Japan shows I've done in the winter that's just freezing cold.
Yeah,
but I'd imagine the same would go for Canada, wouldn't it?
Oh my God, yeah. But now that I've been living in the States for like 5 years in Florida and now Houston, Texas, I'm a little bit more accustomed to the hot weather. Yeah.
Yeah, but originally those.
Yeah, originally, but that went quick because after the first year I was in Tampa, I went back after 1 year to Canada and it was like October and it felt cold.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't know how many winters I did in like minus 40 Celsius. I don't even know how many degrees that is.
Ooh.
Fahrenheit.
Have you figured that one out? I haven't figured that one out. Someone told me there's a trick. I don't know it
I think
yet.
32 is freezing point, but I don't know how it goes.
But what's 0 and how do you get to F and how do you get to C?
0C is 32F.
Okay, I don't know.
Yeah.
Well, hey, man, fun to have you on. Thanks for coming on.
Yeah, no, thank you.
And there's a group of guys that like we want to get on eventually, and it's cool. We were talking a little bit before, and I think like this is a new, or you're learning your ways. It's a new battle for you. You kind of said, right?
Yeah. Well, not the wrestling, but in terms of
no, I mean the system.
The system of getting bookings and how to arrange signings and who's a reputable promoter.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I started on the indies, but now it seems like it's a whole different ball game. Whereas before, I didn't care. It wasn't about the money, or I just was happy just to do it even for gas money.
Yeah.
I mean, but now that it's become a business,
and maybe not. Yeah, right. And maybe you would, but it's like, well, you're stupid not to try to do it as a business.
Yeah,
a guy on TV, right?
Yeah, I mean, well, I don't know.
I mean, you could go back to going for $20 if you wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Which is 14 American.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, the main thing is just knowing which promoter is good, and it's just I've had some interesting experiences.
Yeah. Well, what's the move? So you get released, and like what, like when you're like, okay, I'm going to start indie wrestling.
Yeah.
Like, what's your? Do you reach out to someone? Do you talk to someone?
Yeah, I actually talked to Mason Ryan, kind of helped me out because he had just got released maybe 6 months before me, and he just told me just like make an email account right away, like a booking email account, and just plug it on Twitter. And sure enough, I did that, and like the first day I got like so many emails from all over the world, and I got really excited. I was like, oh man, I'm gonna get booked. And
well, do you know what that's called? That's called the Raven effect.
Yeah.
Because I think in like 2003, like he got. He was doing everything, and then he got in the indies, and this is when he did stuff like with ROH with us.
Yeah.
And I just remember him that first year being like, I am making so much more fucking money than I ever made. And then like 3 years later, it's like, he's like, hey, can you help me get booked?
I remember Raven when I was on the Indies. I was still in high school, and I drove like 20-something hours to do these shows, and Raven was on. I couldn't believe. I was just like starstruck by him.
Yeah.
It's funny. Yeah. Actually, a funny story even about being starstruck. I remember when I was a kid, being at a house show one time, and I touched Scotty Too Hotty's foot. Like it was like an ice rink, but the glass was out. So he stood up where the glass goes. He stood up, and I like reached and touched his foot, and I couldn't believe that I touched Scotty Too Hotty's foot. Like the same thing even with Raven. I remember like being a mark and like asking him for, hey man, can I take a picture?
But you
with
were in the locker room with him.
Yeah, I was in the locker room. Yeah. I took a picture on the old school camera that had the film, but I lost that film.
Or the disposable.
No, it was like a permanent one, like a
film.
fixed. Yeah, it had a film. Yeah, but I lost it. I never did.
I've told the story where Triple H was walking down the aisle and he looked at, this was WrestleMania, and he looked at me, and I was a fan, 16.
Yeah.
And he walked down the aisle and he was like looking at me, and he's like, oh, I can get some heat off him, and like I just like put my hand on his chest.
Oh,
and I was like,
God.
I'm touching his chest. And he's like, oh, this is same with the foot. It's just like
I told all my buddies and they didn't believe me. Like, no way.
That's the one that does the worm. It goes up and down, and I'm a part of that now.
Exactly. Yeah.
It's fun to hear that. Like, so obviously from a starting age, big fan.
Oh yeah. As long as I can remember.
Yeah.
I mean, my uncle was a wrestler, Gamma Singh, so just all my life, like just looking up to him. He and my cousin just.
Okay, hold on. I'm pretty that Stampede.
Yeah, Stampede. Yeah.
You're, really?
Yeah.
Is that widely known?
Yeah.
Jesus, well, that shows you the homework I do. Really?
Yeah.
Fuck, I didn't know that. And so, was it? Did you see him a lot, or is it one of those uncles that was like?
He was always gone wrestling.
Did you have a close relationship with him though?
Yeah. No, I didn't have. Not really. Like,
Okay.
I mean, he's an adult. Like, he's 40 years. Like he's 40, and I'm a kid. And,
But
I mean, just look up to him. He's always gone wrestling and whatnot. I'm close with my cousin, the other Raj. My cousin Raj, who I used to tag with on the Indies. Actually, I still do once in a while. Now.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Singh's a big.
Singh is big because every Sikh or Punjabi male's middle name is Singh. Like my full name is Yuvraj Singh Desi. Just like Tiger. His name's Jeet, probably something Jeet Singh.
Okay.
Hans is his last name. Gamma Singh Sahoda. So Singh is a middle name. Even Kali, his legit shoot name is Dalip Singh.
Okay.
Dalip Singh,
Yeah. And so everyone thinks you guys are like people are related, or how's that?
Yeah,
work?
everybody assumes it,
Or
but
the
it's just
ignorance of.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Now there was there was a Singh. The biggest Singh legend.
Jeet, Tiger Jeet.
No, but there was one I feel, like in the 40s or 50s that like came over to England.
there was the original Gamma Singh.
Okay, that might have been it. Yeah,
Dara Singh is another. Maybe you're thinking of Dara
I
Singh.
think Dara Singh, yeah.
Oh yeah, legend. Even like he just passed away a couple years ago, but legend, like big, huge celebrity because he crossed over into movies and all kinds of things. Yeah.
Okay, and so okay, so you're from where then?
I'm from Calgary.
Right.
I'm born and raised in Calgary.
Is that a big? Okay, so I don't want to say the wrong thing.
No. Is there
what am I saying? A Punjab community?
Oh yeah, but big Punjabi community. Oh yeah, lots like that.
What are the words that I'm allowed to say? And I'm not nothing. I'm not allowed to-
Punjab is a region. Punjabi is a language.
Okay,
But
what about Indian?
Indian's fine.
Indian.
Yeah, Indian just generalizes all
Okay.
Indian. South Indian, there's Hindus, but I'm Sikh, Punjabi, northern India.
Where you're
from? Yeah.
Okay.
Most every wrestler's been from Punjab. Yeah,
Okay.
I don't know why. It's just you can tell the difference. Like the Punjab Indians are kind of taller and more lighter skinned, and then there's the Apu kind of like the stereotypical.
Yeah.
It's more South Indian.
Right. That's, you can tell the difference.
Yeah, I can.
Not to be a bit of a shithead about it, but to be honest about it, right? Yeah. So is there a big big Punjabi community?
Oh
in
yeah,
Calgary?
huge. Actually, in Canada, it's big. Like Vancouver, Toronto is huge. Vancouver, so many Indian people.
I want to say
Calgary,
Detroit, or is that not right?
yeah, Detroit. They're everywhere.
And maybe
Detroit,
they came from Toronto down to Detroit.
Windsor, Detroit. Even Detroit has a lot. Like New York has a lot. Jersey has a lot. Chicago, so many. Even Houston, where I live, like I live in northern Houston, but in southern Houston, there's lots.
Do you feel the need to?
No, I don't really leave my house. Not that
You
much.
don't leave your house?
Maybe at night, but
Well, that's a thing you hear. I've heard that on like other programs and stuff of just like when people move from a different country and come, especially like years ago, and then if there's a community there.
Yeah.
that's like you just start becoming friends with that
yeah. Oh,
community.
yeah. Actually, what happened is like the first people that, years and years ago that moved, they just stuck to each other and they became like really good. Actually, like you say, like those are your aunt and uncle and their kids are your cousins kind of thing. Yeah, you
Everyone
just become
becomes family.
Exactly, yeah.
And what family came over to Calgary?
My dad first.
Your dad was born in
India, yeah.
In India, and came over.
Yeah, came over, then went back, got married to my mom, then my mom came. And
oh, really?
Yeah.
Wait, and then you were all born.
Yeah, my sister, my brother, and me, yeah.
We're all born
in Canada, Calgary, yeah.
Oh, fun. And it's kind of, I'd like to hear like the wrestling. Why does wrestling get put on TV? Do you find it, or is your dad watching it?
Actually,
actually, your uncle.
When my uncle, I'm born in '86, so by the time Stampede was pretty much done, it was like 1989. So I don't really remember that much.
Yeah,
Stampede, I wasn't around for that, but I'm WWE. Like my earliest memory is me watching it with my grandpa, maybe when I was about 3 or 4.
Was Gamas?
Yeah, he wasn't at that time. He was just doing like South Africa. He would go to international, small indie, like indies.
After Stampede, you're saying?
Yeah. After Stampede, there was like some Fallout promotions that would run kind of.
I can only imagine.
Yeah, like indie style.
Right.
Same guys, but like a casino, Frank Sisson's Casino, like it kind of Stu's friends.
Yeah. Well, were you at an age where you remember that he was wrestling?
No, I don't remember seeing it. I don't see it because there wasn't TV then.
Right, but I'm saying, like, do you remember being like, "Oh, your uncle's wrestling right now. He's over somewhere wrestling."
Yeah. I know he's wrestling. Yeah.
So
he's like famous, like in the community.
Yeah, but like I'm saying, that, like when I don't know when he stopped. That's what I'd say.
Oh, like probably. I mean, he wrestled like a couple years ago.
Okay, so fair. He's still going, really?
Not like rarely.
Yeah.
I mean, about like probably. Like even 10 years ago, he went to like South Africa.
But when you're watching it with your dad or your grandpa, and then all of a sudden they go, like, you get to an age where they go, "Oh, we have a family member who does that and is."
I just knew always. I knew.
You always knew.
Yeah,
okay, so that was part of like, hey, we're watching wrestling. Grandpas were watching wrestling.
Yeah.
Your uncle does this.
Yeah, I don't remember talking about it though, but I knew at that time. I was aware. Yeah. So, but it just I've always watched it even when I was a kid, and being from Calgary, like the Bret Hart was like God. Like, everywhere you went, like everyone was talking about Bret. Like we had the team, the Hitman was a hockey team.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the Hart family is like very, very famous in Calgary, and like I'm sure you've heard this before. Bruce is always a substitute teacher. And you kind of mark out like he wears. They're called shoe boots. It's like the running shoe, mixed hybrid style pro wrestling cross cowboy boot.
Yes,
he's always wearing them.
And do you know why I know that? The first wrestler, the guy that broke me in, gave me my first show, Rockin' Randy.
Yeah.
Once started wearing those, and like when too, like when you start training, it's like you have to get gear, you have to get boots, like and then like anyone else not wearing boots is a backyarder, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, this guy he's an utmost professional,
he's a genius. Yeah, you can mix
starts wearing shoes, with boots.
Wow, that's genius. Yeah, that would save a lot of room in my suitcase. Just wear my boots that I wrestle in around at the airports and do my day.
So those were like a popular thing, maybe in this Calgary stand.
I'm saying only Bruce wore them. The only person that I've seen.
Well, he was wrestling in them, trying to get him off as like Cowboy Bob Orton. Cowboy style boots.
But Calgary remix version
with a Nike swoosh, not even a Nike, like a Nike, a Nicky circle.
Substituting kids in them with.
Yeah, I've got a buddy who was on the podcast on one of the live shows, Graham Clark, who he was his substitute teacher. Was he your teacher? Did you ever see him,
Bruce?
Yeah,
he was.
Oh, he was your teacher.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
That's amazing. I guess
in high school. Yeah.
I guess it's shitty to laugh at, but we all need jobs.
Yeah. Man, I don't think he said a word. Like he literally just like sat there, like played a DVD or a video VHS.
Do you think he was like, "I'm scamming the system, brother"?
No, I think he thought he was a star. Like he was over.
Oh, he thought.
Yeah, he really was over in his heyday. Mm-hmm. Like he was over.
I imagine all that.
But so I think once you're over, you always in your mind kind of think you're always. I don't think it ever goes away.
And if you're a Hart, right?
Yeah.
To like.
The kids would mark out like, oh, he's known as Brett's brother, but Owen's brother,
and was once on TV in a thing.
Yeah, I don't think kids really care about it. Yeah, it's just he's his brother.
He's known,
known as the brother.
It's pretty amazing. The and I'm sure you understand this being in that position, but also as a kid, I remember like going to overnight camp and someone's dad was like a football player, and you're just like, every kid, like no one knows who the fuck that guy is.
Yeah.
They all run up to him.
Yeah.
And they all want his autograph and picture, myself included. And I imagine like 3MB style.
Yeah.
Right, people. That's not a rip.
No.
I'm saying, people like a wrestler. Do we know who he is?
Yeah, no,
I don't know.
It is. Yeah.
And did you see that a lot?
Yeah.
And where are you on in that level? Like
in my life?
No.
Oh.
Yeah. You as that football player, because you're that football player to me.
You know what? It happens a lot with East Indian kids, just because there's no East Indian pro athletes. If you think about it, hockey none, basketball none.
None.
I mean, a couple got like I think one or two got signed in this past year, but they haven't been on television. There's no athletes at all. Like, I mean, Amir Khan is a boxer, but he's Pakistani, but he's like very, very over, even in Pakistan and England. Mm-hmm. So there's no East Indian pro athletes. So when you are
in
one,
America.
In Canada, in North America.
I'm sorry, in North America.
I keep
forgetting that.
Yeah. I mean, it's very, very rare that there's a professional athlete.
Okay.
Or like all the celebrities are just famous within Indian people. Mm-hmm. Like it's very rare that there's someone who's famous, or I'm not saying that I'm famous, but is on television or is a pro athlete or doing something and on television that everybody can see.
Did you feel any responsibility with that? Or did you take advantage of it?
No, I don't take advantage. No. You know what? I don't see myself as like a big star. I don't know. I kind of get weirded out by it. Like I don't really, when I'm back home, like where it mostly happens, I don't really go out. I just lay low. But it's cool. Like I mean, it's good to be like a role model, which
right.
you know.
But you realize so sitting here saying you realize, oh, there's not many stars. I'm on television. I realize maybe in my mind I'm not this. What's that?
Used to.
Well, I'm saying at this point, in your career, let's take it back a couple of years.
Okay.
I'm not I don't see myself as this, but I realize I'm on television, and I realize that a kid would want to.
Yeah.
And like I don't know, like was there opportunities to reach those kids in person?
Yeah. Just when I talk to them, because like it's kind of weird being Indian, because your parents always want you to be a doctor or a lawyer. You know, I see them. Hey, what do you want to be? They'll tell me, hey, I want to be something like I want to be a wrestler too, and I just tell them, yeah, you can be anything you want to be. You know, like anything's possible.
Did you feel that pressure from your parents?
Yeah, but they support the wrestling. Like, I don't really care. Like I always do whatever I wanted. Like I did to a certain point. Like you better study. Yeah. All Indian parents are like that. I mean,
right. Do you feel like now that it's when did you start wrestling? What year?
Oh man, I started training actually when I was like still in high school, but I didn't start wrestling regularly, like on a weekly basis or somewhat regularly until I was 18.
So what year was that? That was
04.
04. But I'm saying so in 04, like in the 70s.
Yeah.
I mean, what I'm saying is like, have you seen the cultures relax a little bit?
Yeah, it has. But still, parents are always, going to be. You got to be a doctor.
As Will Smith said, parents still they just don't understand.
No, they don't get it.
So there still was that pressure of like.
Yeah. I mean, there was, but obviously I went my own way.
Right. So you started in high school.
Yeah. Just wrestling around. I started training with Bad News. Alan,
get out of here!
Yeah.
God, there's so much I don't know about you. This is great.
Yeah, he was.
How big was that wiener?
I've heard stories.
Didn't show it. Didn't show it.
He didn't show me, but you could see his big old ball sack, like when he was wearing like velour track pant bottoms. He'd bend over or something, or like
you knew something was in there.
Oh man, yeah. I've heard a lot of stories. I've definitely heard the legend. Yeah.
I think there's a joke that we did in our comedy show. I must have said it on stage. I don't know if it was true or not.
Yeah.
But it's one of those things where if you say it enough, then it just becomes true.
Yeah.
Where this part I remember, they say I was in Japan and they said top 3 penises Japan, Jody Fleisch. Scorpio.
Oh yeah.
And Bad News Alan. Top 3 big penises.
Man, okay.
But then they say Cabana-san. You okay? A very okay penis. Very okay.
Wow, okay, that's
so
good.
I got a compliment.
But okay, funny thing, I got a bone to pick with Japan. Last time I was out in Nagoya.
Just Japan in general.
Yeah, I believe because this is my story. I was in Nagoya.
Which makes me just saying like Punjab. That,
okay.
It allows it
in Nagoya, in Nagoya, Japan. So I was out at the bar and like like a couple guys came up to me, like they would start at my shoulder, like, oh, very big. All of a sudden they would like go for my crotch. What? Just push him away. Like, yeah, what's going on?
Wrestler or just regular?
No, civilian. Yeah. No wrestlers. So this happened like 2-3 times. And so I was with a sponsor, but he's not from Japan. He was like South American, but he's born in Japan. I asked him, hey, what's going on with this? Like, he's like, oh, no, they're traumatized by their own dicks. Like, they're just obsessed. So, okay, so I'm like, this is weird. Anyway, so we're sitting down at like a little booth gimmick, and there's a couple of females there, and I don't know, they're speaking Japanese back and forth, and I was like, hey, what's going on? So one of the Japanese guys, he asked me, he goes, Magnum size? Magnum size.
Yeah.
I was like, what? Man, these people are obsessed with dick size.
Yeah.
Like, I think they thought that I was black. That's what I seriously think it. Like, 'cause as soon as I got it, like in there and at the bar, like they were like flies on shit. Like they were just like all over me. I was like, man, like this is
women or just anyone?
No, guy, no. I wish women, no guys. Like I don't know, they're just obsessed with dicks. As you said. Like,
yeah, I have another. I don't think I've ever saw this. What am I? I'm in 01. You know those bathhouses? Did you ever go to the bathhouses?
No.
It's not like San Francisco style bathhouses, but
Okay.
it's like in Japan. It's like a public thing. You
go to the bathhouse and sit in the sauna.
Yeah, and it's a giant like pool, but it's a bathhouse. And I was like, all right, they brought me here, they paid for me, I'm gonna go. And then like this guy just sat next to me, just kept on pointing at my dick. One of the wrestlers, not a regular, but one of the wrestlers.
I think even the wrestlers aren't like they're
it's a weird.
Oh, I made this like I was like, oh man, I know how to finally get over in this country. Just come out and just start throwing out. No, just throwing out magnums in the crowd.
Oh man, you're just gonna wave it around.
So then I was thinking like, man, like, do they even watch wrestling for the wrestling matches? Or are they just like watching it, just like, oh my god, like
at least the Americans are the foreigners,
man, like
the darker skinned ones.
Yeah, I was like, man, does these guys even watch the wrestling for wrestling?
So Bad News. I know nothing about Bad News. What do you think about him?
Oh, he's awesome, man. He's one of the coolest guys I've ever met. Like, he was kind of like a father figure in so many ways. Like, I could ask him about life advice or wrestling. I mean, he was just awesome. He was phenomenal.
Yeah. So where was he at that point? 2000. He was done wrestling.
Yeah, done wrestling. He was. He used to be like a security guard at a mall, but he would train wrestling. And
so, I mean, someone Ken, my buddy Ken Tuccio was telling me that Paul Roma used to work at Office Max after wrestling.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't want to hear.
Yeah, I know.
That Bad News Brown was a fucking security.
Yeah, it's kind of funny because even like when I broke into wrestling, like when I started, not like when I was in high school, I would see guys that would like go to like Japan once or get a tryout, and I'd be like, wow, like these guys are like
legends,
man,
yes.
like.
Even the tryout.
Yeah, you get you get a dark match. I was like, man, like
they're gods.
You would never think they have like a day job, like
local gods.
Yeah. Oh my god. Just
who was the guys? Do you remember?
There was a guy named Juggernaut.
Okay,
you might know him from Vancouver area.
Yeah, big dude.
Like, oh yeah, big dude. Oh, I thought he was a legend.
Yeah,
I mean, like he went to Japan a couple times, and Johnny Devine, I thought like he because then he went into TNA, like he was like an absolute legend to me.
We all have those. That's fun. Yeah. It's fun to think about. Maybe not like Devine was on TV, Juggernaut not so much. But I mean, and this isn't ranked on any sort of way of his career, but like it's fun that I like that we can sit back, you on television for 5 years, whatever it might be, and still you have that memory of like fucking Juggernaut was the biggest stud ever. Like I have this.
I marked out for like shoot.
And probably if you saw him today, you'd be like, oh, fucking God.
Once you're over, you're always over. Like I remember like during one summer, like a bunch of the guys went to England for Dixon, and I thought like, holy
God.
Yeah, like do you know a Highlander? His name was Rob McManus. He's a Scottish guy, but from Calgary.
McManus?
Yeah, Rob.
Rory and
No, not those guys. He was another one from Calgary.
Oh, a different one.
Yeah.
Maybe not.
He was local, but in my eyes, legend.
Yeah.
There's another guy, Johnny Handsome. He was like a bodybuilder kind of guy.
Johnny Handsome might sound familiar.
Like I thought these guys were like on the cusp of becoming world. Like these guys are going to get signed right away and become world. Like that in my mind, that was what was going to happen.
They were taking the step.
Yeah, they were like there was another guy named Rick Vane around that time during Stampede Wrestling who, in my eyes, was like, I'm like, holy shit, like these guys are getting signed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I thought they were they were next in line to be world champion.
But in reality, I mean, they were just doing tours.
Yeah.
But they were smart enough to take. I mean, that's what leads you to those next steps. Are you smart enough to take those next steps?
I feel sometimes like wrestlers now are a lot different. Like back then, they were like big and had like nice gear and long hair and
it's the long hair key, I think. And
hot stuff
and hot stuff. That's
hot
exactly,
stuff. Yeah. Like it's kind of weird. Actually, I went to a show last week in upstate, and where was it? What was
Up
it?
near Buffalo, you said.
Up near Buffalo, yeah, and all the guys in the locker room have hot stuff. I couldn't believe it.
Well, I think it's like regional, and I think it's
Yeah.
some places people still hold on to that like '80s
Yeah,
grasp.
yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like Chicago was a place like that, but it's different sects of like. Some of the people go on to realize like, okay,
Yeah.
we're starting into like new style of wrestling, and we
Yeah.
should be doing like spot. There's one half that's like spot, slap kick, super kick, you know, and then there's the other half that's like brother,
yeah.
Memphis brother.
Speaking
hot
of like
stuff.
the territories, there's even some territories that still rock the fanny pack and
Well, sure.
yeah. It's weird. It's like they had the hot stuff. Some promotions, everyone has a fanny pack.
Yeah, still have like girls in different towns, even though it's like not a thing.
Yeah.
But they still like try to. I don't know.
Yeah, they try to tell you they do. But
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Okay, I want to know more about Bad News. So you
Yeah.
go. How do you find Bad News Browns training people?
Through Gamma.
Ah, that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
So you said, "Hey, I'm now of age," which was 13 years old.
Yeah.
No, well, how old? 13?
No. I was 15.
15.
Yeah,
So,
15, 16.
I'm 15, 16. I'm kind of tall.
Yeah.
Can I wrestle?
Yeah.
Is that what you said to him?
But kind of. Yeah, I just started going. Like I don't really remember. I didn't really ask. It was just kind of like one of those things that was gonna happen. Like
Well, but what was the first? How was it to bet? Like,
just what? Yeah, just hey, it's at this place. Just go.
so you said I want to do it. You
Yeah,
said,
yeah.
Tell me
Yeah.
how to do it.
Yeah, just hey, here's the place. This is the address. Just go there. And
He told you without you asking.
Yeah. I went there and I met him. Like
I'm talking about your uncle.
Yeah. I asked. Yeah, I asked.
You did ask.
Yeah. And there was like another.
What was the question? That's what I wanted.
I want to. Where can I train?
Thank you. Okay.
Yeah. A lot. Being from Calgary, a lot of people think that I trained with the Hearts or with Lance Storm, which neither or.
Yeah.
Lance Storm came after, and I was. I didn't wrestle. I only wrestled for the Hearts, but I never trained with them.
Right.
Like when I was 18. So I just started at that school. Actually, there was one of the other trainers there was Rick Titan, the fake Razor Ramon.
Get out of here.
Yeah, he was there.
Rick Bogner?
Rick Bogner, yeah. We started training with him a little bit. Bad News, Gamma. Jerry Morrow. Oh, yeah, Jerry Morrow trained me a lot, too. I don't know if you know about Jerry Morrow. He's like a Canadian. He's from Stampede Wrestling, but like he's awesome. Like Jericho and Edge and Christian put him over to the moon. Like
Do you show up and you're like, wait, fake Razor Ramon? Like, were you blown away by that?
oh, my God. Legend.
Did you know he was a trainer there?
Yeah.
You did know.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Your uncle told you. Oh, also fake Razor Ramon will be there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would love the idea of just being like, I can't believe I'm training with Bad News. I can't believe I'm training with Bad News. And then you walk in, you're like, Bad News, and you're like, and fake Razor Ramon.
No, I knew because at that time the message boards were big, and like so I would
But I do love that's my favorite. I don't even want to know your story. In my mind, that's how it goes. You show up and fake Razors is there.
No, there was a lot of people. Phil LaFon used to swing by. Johnny Smith used to swing by. Yeah, there's a lot
And
of
do
people.
what? And get in the ring or just kind of sit around?
No, at that time, Johnny Smith was wrestling in All Japan. Wow. So a little bit. And Phil LaFon would get in the ring. Yeah. Phil LaFon actually all the time. Jerry wouldn't take bumps, but he'd be in the ring.
And was it like a big class or was
No,
it?
a couple people.
Just a couple of people.
Yeah.
So-
there's a couple mainstays, and then there would be like 2 or 3 that would come and go. Like there would always be like 2 people that would come and quit.
So
and
Bad
then-
News is doing this just because he loves wrestling, or he's trying to make a hustle out of this? What do you think?
I don't think the hustle was that big, but maybe enough for gas money. And I think he just liked it.
That's what I'm saying. Like, what's the point of not? What's the point is like maybe some.
I think he just helped us out.
He just like doing it. But he went and rented a place and got a ring, or somebody hooked that up?
It was always hooked up. Like
He was.
there was a place before. It was like a martial arts gimmick, and then we went to another place that was like a big sports complex, and it had a boxing ring, but the boxing ring had no give, and it was fiberglass boards. So we like put our asses through it doing suplexes, and they were expensive fiber boards.
Right.
It wasn't like plywood.
Yeah.
So we got kicked out of there, and then there was like a promotion started. Like a couple guys started. Rick Bogner was involved, and then they had like a bay where the wrestling school was.
What did he wrestle as? Rick Bogner.
No, he didn't wrestle at that point.
Oh, he was
no.
just-
He was just involved. So then they rented a place, and there was a promotion for a little bit. That folded, and then another buddy of mine, another legend. His name is Ali the Beast. He's from Calgary, Lebanese guy. He's a character. I like him.
Yeah.
He got like a big Quonset on some Indian reservation.
A Quonset.
Like a huge, like kind of like a bay building, but it's made out of like plastic or
Okay.
Like they're called Quonset. I don't know.
I've never heard of that.
It kind of looks like a barn, but a fancy barn.
I understand. Yeah.
Yeah. So he had like this kind of built it like an arena.
Okay.
Yeah, he actually even did like a taping for Lebanese television, and he made a ring that was an octagon, and it was kind of like work shoot matches.
Were you on this?
Yeah, I was on it. Yeah,
Really?
yeah,
Did you? At what age were you that?
18.
Did you think you were going to be a Lebanese star?
Yes. Oh yeah. Oh brother, I've had so many things come up in my life that I was gonna like. This was it. Like, all
What
right,
else
brother.
you
This
got?
is a
What
ticket.
else you
No,
got?
just wrestling related. Just promotion. Oh, this promotion started.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
it, brother. We're gonna get television. Actually, before I started wrestling, I was like 14, and I went to BJ's gym to talk to Ted Hart. Mm-hmm. Sure enough, he sold me on the dream. Yeah, brother, we got Matt Rats.
You were going to be in Mat Rats.
I was inquiring around that time.
Yeah.
So, so sure enough, yeah, brother, Matt Rats is starting. You know, imagine this: you get off a plane, limousine picks you up, and I'm like 14, like thinking, like, Jesus Christ, like that's it, like we got it made, like this is it.
This
like,
wrestling stuff's easy.
oh my God, like cakewalk. That's it.
Yeah.
And
And who'd have? It's kind of funny. Not who'd have thunk, but like you always hear that it's like harder to get stuff in Canada, just because like it's I always say because the indie wrestling is so spread apart.
Yeah.
But it's kind of cool that like there were all these little opportunities. And I guess TJ was they always had weird things. They always got weird things, but it always seemed a little harder. Like if you want to like hustle to kind of make a name for yourself.
Yeah. The main thing is Canada's cities are so far apart. Like
That's what I'm saying. So when you make those travels,
oh my God, yeah, like you're in Calgary, the next big city over is Vancouver, 12-hour drive, like the major city. Mm-hmm. Then for the other way, like Saskatchewan is like 6, but they're not big cities. Winnipeg is 12 hours.
Right.
Like Toronto is like 30 hours.
So if I wanted to, like when we started, like we're gonna make our name in Chicago and Milwaukee and Detroit and Minneapolis, and that's a 2-hour drive, and then a 3. It's easier for us as an American to make our names in these bigger cities.
There were shows like that. Like there would be spot shows in small towns, Indian reservations, but it's not nobody.
That's not a metropolitan.
Metropolitan.
There it is.
No, God, no. Like, oh my God.
What was the 20-hour drive to see what
Thunder Bay, Ontario.
Okay.
Yeah, interesting trip.
Was that why, when you took that 20-hour booking?
Yes.
Because like someone was like, this is gonna be a big show, or just like, hey, this is a cool opportunity.
Cool opportunity.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that would actually turn into an interesting story because so whatever, we did the show first in Winnipeg, then drove another 8 hours to Thunder Bay. I believe it was 8 hours. It was long. Anyway, so we wrestled in Thunder Bay. So we've been on the road for a couple of days now, and we're gonna drive straight shot back. I'm not gonna say any names.
Okay.
So we're driving back. Everybody passes out in the car except the driver. So Thunder Bay is right on the American border. Like 10, 15-minute drive. So we're driving, thinking we're driving home. All of a sudden, I hear, oh, crap, the U.S. border. We're in a minivan. We do a U-turn at the border. Border Patrol flashes like,
Right.
Go through. We're like, oh, no. So sure enough, stop the car. Everybody out. We're searching the car.
And you didn't mean you were just going in Canada, right?
Yeah, we were in Canada, except we went on the wrong highway towards the border, tried to do a U-turn.
Yeah.
And the U-turn guy saw us.
There's no point of you weren't going into
No, we weren't going into America. No.
Okay,
but we were forced to go into this to this search. So I'm still in high school, but I'm with older wrestlers. And so like for hours, like we just sit in this room, one by one you see like the fanny pack come in.
Yeah.
Another like gimmick bag come in, and another one, and they had steroids on them.
Wow.
I'm like, oh no, I'm shaking it at the gimmick, and one of them tells me like, quit fucking shaking.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God. But luckily for some reason, like one of them got a fine. I think I believe he had 12 mils. Got a fine paper. The next guy gets a paper for the fine, $0 owing. He had 8 mils. Okay. So he's like, hey, $0. The guy's like, yeah, you're under the legal limit. He's like, what is the legal limit? He's like, oh, I can't tell you that. But I figure it was 10.
Yeah.
So then the next guy, he kind of got up. He had all pills, and he was just like, oh, yeah, this is ginseng, so-and-so, this is whatever. Anyway, he got off. And then actually they just asked me, and my cousin was there too, my partner, like they just wanted to make sure we were born in Canada. They're like, oh yeah, what hospital are you born in? So anyway, but I asked them, I'm like, hey, so what's the deal here? They're like, no, we'll just treat this like it was like a bus. Like I was worried, like, oh my God, my record, I'll be never allowed into the States, my life is over. But anyway, we got out of there. So that happened. We were driving on the highway. We see like a sweet muscle car. We're like, oh, nice muscle car. The tire as it's driving, just falls off and comes barreling towards us. Get out of the way for that. We run out of gas. Try siphoning gas. I can't remember. I think we wait. It was like we tried to siphon gas, but finally we found a gas station. It was like rural, like Manitoba.
Yeah, all in one trip.
And then a tire pops. A tire pops. And so we get on the spare, like drive like 40 miles an hour to for 2 hours to the next little town. It's like 5 a.m.
Did they make you change the spare, the young boy?
No, they didn't.
Okay.
No, they didn't actually.
Or you just young, stupid high school kid?
I don't know what. I'm shocked they didn't make me.
Yeah.
No, I would have been happy to.
Sure, of course.
Yeah. I would have been glad to. But anyway, so tire pops. We got to wait like 5 hours till the store to open. Finally, we get a tire and then make it back. I'm like, oh my god. This was my first trip. Like long. I had like a couple 3-4 hours. This was like my first one for like a couple days. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah. Anything after that is a piece of cake.
Oh,
though, right?
Yeah, everything. Yeah. It's a good thing that it started that way.
Not to harp on this, but like I always find that interesting is like when we get into wrestling, like especially at a young age. I got in at 18, 19, but I was still probably pretty stupid, I think, at the point.
Yeah.
So you're a high schooler, and these guys all have introduced to the steroid culture, the idea that people do this, right? Because I assume, and I maybe I'm incorrect, but like I don't know, in high school it's just like you're just maybe some kids are drinking, right?
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's just like grown men doing weird shit. Like, was that the first time you were aware that was a thing? Like those fanny packs?
No, I knew because I hung around wrestlers always. Like even when I was, I don't know, they're kind of like I always read all their books, and so I would like hear lots of things. Or
so you just knew that was.
I already knew. Yeah, I already knew. Yeah. Oh yeah. I wasn't. I'm not dumb. Like
right.
Yeah. No, I knew everything.
Yeah, but I guess God, I would feel in the same way. But I'd also just think that like once.
But that's what I was telling you. I think that back then it was wrestling was a little bit different. Like
because it was the old men.
Yeah, I don't see too many. I don't think it's like that anymore, really.
Right. Well, that's part of the old man culture.
Yeah.
Or just the grizzledness of the.
They weren't grizzled. They were like the guys that I thought were gonna be. Like,
yeah, fair enough.
They weren't grizzled.
You loved it. You loved everything about it.
Yeah, they were like maybe 30 years old.
Yeah.
But I was 18. They're a lot older than me. But
yeah. They looked the part.
Yeah. Definitely looked the part.
Right.
Yeah.
Long hair. They had that long hair.
Yeah.
That long
nice
wet
tans,
hair.
Nice tans. Yeah.
Okay, and then like I guess not. How did you were doing the indie wrestling and then you get signed or what?
Yeah. Okay. So I was doing the indie wrestling. Then
was that the dream?
To be an indie wrestler?
Yeah. No. No, to get signed.
Oh yeah. Of course.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah. Of course. Yeah. So I was going to university until like 22, 23. So actually, I think I was. Business
doctor,
and
lawyer.
Yeah. I was going to the University of Calgary and just doing my thing there, wrestling on the indies, wherever I could. So I was an extra one time, and they say, hey, get in the ring. But at that point, I wasn't smart to the business like I am now. Like, so they were like, hey, we want to see this guy sell. Put some heat on him. Thinking that like, oh, they're not looking at me, they're just watching this guy sell. So I don't know, I didn't do too good. And they made me wrestle like 3 matches back to back to back, and like everybody's watching, so I got like super blown up just because I was so nervous.
Yeah.
Like, man, I feel sorry for those guys who do those practice matches in the day because they're so stiff and like tense, and it's horrible. They just blow up so bad because not relaxed. Anyway, so I did 2, and then I did one with Eugene. not thinking anything, like I was just like dumb. I was just like, oh, whatever. Like they're like, oh yeah, hey, after the 3 matches, hey, put some heat on this guy, like turn it up. We want to see him sell. You know who the guy was Tyler Breeze.
Okay, so you were just beating him up.
Yeah.
Okay.
They wanted to see how aggressive I was, but
right.
They just told me, hey, we want to see this guy sell. No, now that I know the game,
yeah,
which I wish I would have known then. I was just so blown up. I was like, oh God, get me out of
So
here.
you were kind of like passing on it. You weren't even like.
Nah, well, I was just so blown up, man. I was like dying because I was so tense and so nervous. I was just dead. Like, yeah, man, I had like tunnel vision. It was bad.
Okay.
I seriously think I was concussed because I got suplexed in a match and I hit my head and I got tunnel vision, but I didn't tell anybody this.
Okay.
Like, I told my cousin, like, man, like I'm in like a bad way here.
Right.
But sure enough, like one more match. All right, put heat on this guy. Like, they just kept me in there, but I wasn't thinking any. I was just like, oh yeah, I'm just stuck.
That was your first time?
That was my first time, so I didn't go too well. And then I was like, oh man, like, and WWE rarely comes to Calgary. He's
Right.
like, man, I could either wait just 2 more years or so. They had at that time they had the open tryout where you can pay $1,000 and go. So I was like, screw it, what do I got to lose, right? I was like, whatever, I'll go.
So you went down to Florida. With
I went to try.
1,000.
Like I know some people like AJ Lee went that way, Darren Young went that way. So I seen like EC3, I think too. I seen a couple people got signed. So I was like, hey, maybe either I could sit here and wait 2 years.
Did you have the money?
Yeah. I was like, hey, either I can sit here and wait 2 years.
What were you doing for the money?
Just working.
Just what was your job?
Yeah. Just do various things.
Just you're a man about town. Indie wrestling.
Indie wrestling. Yeah,
Okay.
sell gimmicks.
So you
brother.
collected the money.
Yeah, I was. Yeah,
All right.
I have the money. I had $1,000. It wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, sometimes it's. I don't know. It's a bit. So I guess if you're 22 or 23, sometimes 1,000's hard. Sometimes it's not.
And it was. I mean, I lived at home. I didn't have any bills.
Sure, fair
yeah,
enough.
so
Yeah.
I was a good saver. I was saved my whole life.
Okay.
Yeah. So I went down to the gimmick and I got signed right there, right there, like the
You were
first
one of
day.
the guys.
Yeah.
Was there anyone else in that? camp?
Jacob Novak was there.
Oh, hi.
Uh,
From that first NXT, right?
Yeah. And
maybe the second.
They signed a referee out of there, who was a wrestler, but they made him a referee. But they let him go. And there's another guy there, Rudy Parker. I don't think he was just some guy.
So it was a good investment.
Yeah.
So it was the right move.
Yeah, because I was like, man, I don't want to sit here for 2 more years. And actually, before me, Randy, do you know Randy Myers? He's from Vancouver.
Oh, Ravenous Randy.
Randy,
of course.
Yeah, he got signed from one of those. He went the one before me.
Yes.
He got signed, but he failed for the for
allegedly.
Yeah,
Something. Yeah.
Yeah, but he said it. He said it in an interview.
Okay,
so he failed for marijuana.
Right.
So they didn't sign him. So the very next one, I was like, man, I think I have a shot here.
As long as I don't smoke marijuana, I think I'll be all right.
So I learned. Yeah. Oh, it was good.
Yeah.
So I got signed, and then I did my drug test, and then it took like 4 months to get my work visa.
And what do you think? I mean, because you got, guys. I don't know if you got called up super early, but guys, some guys sit there forever.
Yeah.
Some guys, obviously, I don't know. Obviously, take that back. But the Punjab background.
Yeah, it helps. Yeah, of course. Yeah. No, I'm aware of that. So I did get called up early. I got called up literally 1 year and 1 week to the date.
Okay.
So, but I wasn't expecting
not too early.
It was.
I think I was
had,
1 year and 3 months, and I was.
I had no
about
indication.
fucking time.
I had no indication. I was just doing regular matches. I would always have matches on FCW, the Thursday shows and TV tapings, but on the house shows, maybe about half the time, or I wasn't getting pushed or nothing. Whereas you'd see the guys who were getting groomed for TV right away. You knew. You kind of. I just got a call one day. They're like, hey. Yeah, they're like, hey, we need to update your bio. They just asked me a couple questions. I was like, okay. And then next day they call me, hey, you're going to TV this week.
Yeah.
I was like, all right. So I went to TV. So I go to TV. It was a Monday in Charlotte. I remember I just stood around, didn't do nothing. Oh, I seen Hunter real quick. He's like, hey, Jinder, what's up? I was shocked he even knew my name.
Right.
I was like, hey, buddy, what's up?
Did you think, there's some reason he knows my name, or you're just like, what? Wait, what?
No, I knew who I was aware. Oh, no. Actually, that same week, I remember they were updating everyone's pictures.
Yeah.
So I go up for my picture, and Matt Martlero was like, hey, we need a match and 2 promos from you. We need to send them in. They requested only you.
Gotcha.
I was like,
So that's a
but this
little
was
tip-off.
already after hey, we need to update your profile. So then they called, say, hey, you're going to TV. Okay, so all these things happened. So Hunter was there. He goes, hey, tomorrow morning, go into Brooklyn Brawlers pre-tape room and record some promos. Just do whatever. Vince wants to see you talk. Okay, no problem. So I go in the morning, do the promos with Brawler. I think I was still in Brawler's room or something, and Marty, the cameraman, comes up. He's like, oh, hey, you're debuting today. I was like, what? I'm like, I thought he was joking. He's like,
So that was the first tip-off.
Yeah, so I went Monday, did nothing. So Tuesday, I got the script comes out. Hey, you're debuting. I was like, whoa, shit! Because usually guys do dark matches and go up and do house show runs or nothing. I didn't do nothing.
The dream. You did the dream. You skipped
I don't know, it was a dream. I wish I would have.
I don't know. There's different ways of thinking of it, but
it was a dream. Looking back,
Well,
definitely.
I'm not saying it's a dream, but instead of having to, some guys,
come back and forth. Yeah.
I'll even name a guy like Eric Perez or a guy like Jay Bradley is they did loops and loops and well, should we not? And it's just
or even Johnny Curtis Fandango.
Right. And luckily he did get to and then got a run. But some of those guys do all of that and then nothing. So it's if you get that quick, well, I'm up, fuck you. You can't take that away from me. You know?
That's true. Yeah. So he showed me the script. It was some backstage segment with Rey Mysterio and Khali. I was like, oh shoot, in Greensboro, North Carolina. So I was like, all right. So did the promo, and then I was started from there,
off,
and then
off to the races.
Yeah.
And I always it's kind of like the same situation. Like why I said like I stuck around. Like not that I was ever gonna quit that. And I talked with Hawkins, and he was like, you know, because you never know.
Yeah.
And I was always like, you know, like they were never like, ooh, Colt. But I was like, you never know when they're like, we need like a kind of, hey, someone's like, we need a chubby, good, funny Jewish kid.
Guy, yeah.
And it's like, well, I'm the guy.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, like maybe someone's like, well, do we have an Indian dude? And
Yeah,
it's like,
yeah.
yeah, we do.
Yeah.
And like, there it is. And
Yeah.
so like, even though this guy's being bred to be brought up, it's like,
I think what kind of fast tracked it was at that time Kali's contract was going to be up, and they weren't sure she was going to
There you go.
resign.
And you're
I
that
think
guy.
they had a tour of India planned coming. So I think that all happened, and then all of a sudden Kali resigned, and there was no tour, and then I went from SmackDown or whatever to Superstars.
yeah. Did you ever do India?
No, on wrestling?
Yes.
No, not
You've
wrestling.
never done India?
No, but there's something possibly soon that you guys will
Hopefully.
hear about. Yeah,
Okay.
we're working on it.
I mean,
right
that's,
now. Yeah.
you know, I went with, I got to go with
Yeah,
Sanjay.
it was Sanjay. Yeah.
And it was just
I know,
so
yeah.
fun. And Sanjay had been there for a while, but
Yeah.
it was fun for me to watch the people
Yeah.
gravitate towards Sanjay
Yeah.
and Sanjay talk with them and interact. Do you
Yeah.
speak?
Yeah, I speak Punjabi. Yeah.
So
yeah.
like for him to like my buddy Sanjay, but my buddy Sanjay, and all of a sudden he's like this star.
Oh, they
and
love
he's
wrestling. Yeah. Oh,
interacting.
man, wrestling is
and
huge.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
definitely.
I hope for you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
like hopefully he does. Yeah.
Like I said, there's no professional athletes. Like,
Right.
I mean, there are Indian like cricket players and all that, but there's none that are in North America. They love wrestling, man. Wrestling is so big, like so popular.
Dude, I was in the
Yeah.
middle of the day. We were going rhino hunting.
Yeah.
Not rhino hunting, rhino watching.
Rhino, yeah,
Let me.
viewing.
And like it was in the middle of nowhere, and there was a TV, and like TNA from like 8 months before
Oh, yeah,
it was just
yeah.
on. Like
Yeah.
wrestling was on.
Yeah.
So
I
it was-
remember like my dad was there and like just at a hotel, and one of my matches was on from like Superstars from like 6 months ago
Yeah.
with Ted DiBiase.
That's great.
Yeah, it's just always on. Yeah,
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Good, man. This was really fun.
Oh yeah, thank you, man. Yeah,
Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
You want to plug anything?
Yeah, my Twitter is at Jinder Mahal still.
Nice. that check
Same
mark,
with
right?
my Instagram at Jinder Mahal. And my Facebook is facebook.com// or whatever it is, Jinder Mahal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're doing indies and signings and
Yeah. Indies. Yeah. I got an email address, bookjmahal@gmail.com.
Thank you, Mason
Yeah.
Ryan. Thanks for making sure.
Yeah, Mason Ryan. Mason Ryan told me from day one, man, make an email and send out the tweets.
Right on.
Yeah.
Cool.
Thank you, buddy.
Fun. Thanks for coming on.
No problem.
All right, fun talk. Jinder Mahal on the podcast while I'm in Japan. It's a very international flavored podcast today. Chris is not here with me. He has gone back to his room where he will probably watch hours and hours of weird shit, just like I have. Just finished a documentary on legalizing weed. Joe Rogan was in it. It was on Netflix. I don't smoke, but I'm with him. I get it. Big businesses and politicians. They're the devil. I'm not going to make this that kind of podcast. I'm going to leave. I think I'm done. All right, before we get out of here, let's get into some plugs and
Upcoming events.
all right, the best way you can support ColtMerch.com, digitalcolt.com, Twitter and Instagram at Colt Cabana, Facebook /AOW podcast and /Colt Cabana, Colt Wrestling at gmail.com, my very public email. Maybe you're a promoter and want to put me on your upcoming show or convention. I got a YouTube show /Colt Cabana Wrestling. You can see the Cut My Promos on there. I put up a match with Adam Pearce. Subscribe to that fucker, would you? ColtCabana.com. P.O. Box, send me something fun. The address is on there. Upcoming, if you're in Japan, come see me. That's how that works. noah.co.jp. Friday and Saturday, November 13th and 14th, Philadelphia and Queens, New York, houseofhardcore.net. Sunday, November 15th, Hamilton, Ontario, Canada. Live podcast at 2 o'clock. Show at 4, alpha-1wrestling.com. Friday and Saturday, November 20th and 21st, Sayreville and Keyport, New Jersey, pro wrestling syndicate.com. Wednesday, November 25th, Chicago, Illinois, Cards Against Humanity headquarters. ColtCabana.com for that comedy show. That's where you can get the tickets. Over half have been sold now. You better jump on it if you want to come. Saturday, November 28th, Winston-Salem, North Carolina, WrestleCade.com. Friday, December 4th, Chicago, Illinois, FreelanceWrestling.com. We're going to do a podcast before that. at the Abbey Pub. Saturday, December 5th, Cleveland, Ohio, AIWrestling.com. Sunday, December 6th, Alton, Illinois, right outside St. Louis, PWCSWrestling.com. Of course, those will be for the Wrestling Road Diaries 3. Funny equals money. Kikutaro and Greta will be joining me. I am excited. I am excited to be done for the week. Got to get back to watching YouTube and the internet for hours upon hours until my next show. Big thank you to you guys at home for listening and subscribing and telling your friends. I appreciate it. Thanks to Jinder Mahal. Thanks to Cable Guy Jeff and Stu Stone. Thanks to Chris Hero for coming on early. Thanks to Kid Russell and Matt Jenkins on the music. Dane Miller with some tech. How about those sponsors? HighSpots.com. Hundreds of full-length titles available to download, plus all the $5 wrestling titles, AMA, knee pads, gear, mask, a wrestling ring if you need it. They're the best. They have been around and they're the best. Well, HighSpots.com. OneHourTees.com. They help run ProWrestlingTees.com. You can directly support your favorite wrestlers. Chris is on there, / Chris Hero. I'm on there, / Colt Cabana. A lot of great guys are on there. Help them out, ProWrestlingTees.com and TweetAudio.com / the earbuds that I use. Get over 30% off and free shipping just because you listen to the show. All right, arigato gozaimasu. That just means thank you. It's the one word I've learned throughout the years. I looked up extra today because I went to Subway twice because it's the only place near me. I know, be cultured, Colt, I get it, but listen, it's either the grocery store or Subway, and I'm going with Subway because I can't take the grocery store anymore. So I tried to learn up extra. I forgot it already. I looked it up twice. I said it twice. I forgot it already. You'd think I'd learn these words. You'd think I'd learn the fucking words, but I can't, man. I can't. Ugh. Scooshy. That means a little. I don't know extra. Scooshy. Skoshi. Skoshi? I think it's Skoshi. Fuck me. All right, this has been The Art of Wrestling. For Colt Cabana, I'm Colt Cabana. Thanks. Daijobu. Daijobu. That means it's okay? Daijobu?
Thanks.
How do you say it in Punjabi?
Shukriya.
Shukriya?
Shukriya. Yeah.